Hey there, welcome back to The Daily. This is Adriana. What a treat to be back here with you today for a brand new month. Happy July. And also a new month of practice. So, a brand new theme. If you are new to us here at The Daily, I just want to give you a warm welcome. Roll out the red carpet. It's really great to have you here for practice. And if you're back for another month, yay! I'm so glad that you're here. I'm so happy to practice with you throughout the month of July. So, for our theme of the month this month, we're going to be working with the theme of courage. And I chose the theme of courage because at our last group meetup, I wrote down all of your thoughts and questions that came up. And some of these recurring questions that were emerging are questions like, how do I work with anger skillfully? My own anger and also the anger that is being directed towards me by others. Another big question is, how do I develop patience in the face of the unknown and in the face of uncertainty, not having to have the answers right away? And something that I was thinking as I was looking back over our notes from the last group meetup is that any of these things that are difficult to do, right? Working with difficult emotions, working with frustrations in relationship to others, maybe cultivating qualities that for us are a little bit more difficult to access. All of these things require courage, a certain amount of courage, right? And while courage is in the same neighborhood as, say, fearlessness, bravery, I think for me, the thing about courage that really lands, really resonates, is that courage is a heart word. So it springs from the Latin root cor, which means heart, and may sort of easily be translated as this sense of taking heart. To have courage is to take heart, particularly in the face of challenges, in the face of adversity, and in the face of unknown, right? So when we lose heart, we feel discouraged. When we gain heart, we feel encouraged. And I wanted to spend this month, as we do with all of our themes here at the Daily, really exploring this quality from the inside out, what it means to develop a bit of courage to kind of crank up the volume on our own kind of inherent capacity for courage here on the meditation cushion, and also what it means to bring it out into our lives so that the rubber meets the road in our practice. So for today, I wanted to kick off our first practice just by getting familiarized ourselves with this sense of courage, what courage means to us, where it might be most skillfully applied in our lives, and what our own relationship to courage is. So we'll just take a little bit of time today on the cushion to contemplate courage. So wherever you happen to be, just taking a moment to decide on your seat, as always. And if you're seated on a chair or couch, just making sure that the feet are flat on the ground, creating this really sturdy, stable base, making a lot of contact with this representation of earth. And once we found our seat, just taking a moment to locate our gaze. So eyes open or eyes closed. And if we're practicing with eyes open, letting the gaze be soft, hazy, unfocused. If we're practicing with eyes closed, seeing if we can keep that sense of being uplifted, awake, aware. And then we'll take a few moments, as always, just to open our practice by opening our senses. So just allowing our senses to anchor us here in space, arriving fully. And shifting the attention to sound. Just receiving the sounds of the space that we're in. And staying open to the field of sound. And shifting the attention to touch. So taking a few moments to really drop in, land in the body. And feeling that light pressure where the body makes contact against the chair, the floor. Maybe a bit of warmth or friction where the body meets the body itself. Taking in the texture of clothing against the skin. Temperature of the air in the room. Dropping into the feet. Maybe wiggling a toe or two. Just feeling our feet here. Texture, temperature. Just bringing a bit of interest to our felt experience here. Tracing the attention across the shin bones. Circling through the kneecaps, grazing along the thighs. Landing in the hips. Feeling where the sit bones plug in to the chair, the cushion. Moving the attention to the belly and the chest. Just taking a few moments here in the belly, the chest, barrel of the front body. Just beginning to establish contact with the body, breathing. So as always, very little effort needed here. Just feeling the way the breath moves by its own volition. Tip of the nose, back of the throat, belly. Just allowing the attention to ride the cycle of breath as it moves through the body. And allowing the attention to tag along. Following the movement of the breath. This felt experience. Continuing to ride the cycle of breath as it moves through the body. We'll take just a few minutes here to give our minds a chance to stabilize, our bodies a chance to settle, by working with the singular instruction that as our minds wander, which they naturally will, we're just noticing when we've left our breathing, acknowledging what captures our attention, and then gently, firmly coming back to the breath in the body. So as we settle into practice together, it's a decent chance that we're finding our mind is drifting, maybe entirely lost in thought at this point. Of course, if that's the case, no big deal. That's what the mind does. It's acknowledging where we've landed, light touch of recognition, and feeling the body breathe. That continual release and return back to the breath in the body. And then if you haven't already, just letting the eyes gently shut and beginning to shift our practice over to a bit of contemplation here. Just bringing to mind this word, courage. And just taking a few moments to repeat it to yourself. And just rolling it around in our minds a few times. And getting a sense of its tone, its texture. Courage. Perhaps noticing any visuals that spring to mind with the suggestion of this word, courage, and what it means, what it represents to us. Maybe noticing that it generates a certain feeling or sensation in the body just by landing our mind on this word, courage. Perhaps even placing our hands on the area of the body where this feeling or sensation is located. And then perhaps even taking a moment to ask ourselves, what in my life right now requires a bit of courage? What in my life right now requires a bit of courage? And just noticing what arises here. So like most contemplations, there's no need to figure it out. No need to even receive an answer. We're just resting with the question and noticing if or what spontaneously arises in response. What in my life requires a bit of courage right now? Where would courage benefit? And just letting that question land. Of course, if at any point we find ourselves lost in thought, tangled in narrative, maybe right down the rabbit hole, no big deal. It's bringing ourselves back to the breath in the body and landing on this question again. What in my life requires a bit of courage right now? Where might it be useful to take heart? And just staying open to what arises. Noting any spontaneous response. What in my life might require a bit of courage right now? And then whatever information has been collected here by this question, this contemplation, this inquiry, just allowing it to fade into the backdrop a bit. And coming back to the word itself, courage, maybe rolling it around in our minds a few times. Again, noticing if and where that's located in the body. And then allowing our contemplation to dissolve. And bringing our attention back to the sensation of breathing. We'll take just a few moments to rest our attention here. Just feeling the body breathe. And then closing out our practice today, maybe just offering ourselves a kind word, maybe another hand on the heart moment. And it's giving ourselves a little bit of credit for showing up, creating some space for ourselves. And then as you're ready, letting formal practice drop and coming back in together at your own pace, no rush. Great. All right. Thank you. Thank you, 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 thank you. Thank you for practice. What a treat to be here with you today. I hope that you have a really wonderful first day of July. And we will see you right back here tomorrow for continuation of courage. Okay, we'll see you then.